In this video, learn how easy it is to create amazing panoramic landscape images. Sometimes it can be frustrating that you see a beautiful, expansive scene in front of you, but you simply can't capture all of it in one image with your Canon gear. This is when you need to create a panoramic image, which is when you take several shots of the scene from left to right, and then stitch them all together in Photoshop for one big, wide, panoramic shot. There are a few essential steps to take to ensure a successful panorama picture. First of all, we shot on a full-frame Canon EOS 5DS and shot at 24mm on a 24-25mm lens. If you're using an APS-C crop sensor camera, try to shoot at approximately 18mm or above. As our Canon EOS 5DS camera is a 50MP monster, we use the M-RAW setting, which creates RAW images a little smaller. This speeds up things in Photoshop later as you're editing massive RAW files. Position yourself in the middle of the scene when you shoot from left to right so that you can pivot your camera from left to right easily. Use a standard zoom and avoid really wide focal lengths. We shot at 24mm. This ensures that there's no barrel distortion at each edge of the frame, as this will need to be cropped when you create the panorama. Shoot in manual mode as you need to have consistent exposures throughout the scene for each image you take. You also want a good depth of field so that the whole scene is sharp from foreground to horizon. So use an aperture around f16, set the ISO to 100 for good quality, and then set a suitable shutter speed for a good exposure. A tripod with a good three-way geared head means surefire sharp shots whatever the shutter speed. A tripod also makes it easier for straighter horizons and verticals, for better compositions, and it's also easier to spin the camera from left to right accurately for each image of your panorama. Plus it's easier for software to line up the images together when merging. The trick with a good panoramic image is not to compose horizontally or landscape format. Instead compose vertically or portrait format for each shot. That way you will end up with a taller panoramic image when you're combining your shots, rather than a long, thin image. Use live view and focus 1/3 into the scene for a sharp scene, and lock your focus. We use back button focus so it's easy to do this, or you can focus and then switch your lens to manual focus so it doesn't move. Now all you need to do is take a series of shots from left to right that slightly overlap each time. We took 5 shots for our panoramic scene, but you can take 3 images or 7 images, it's up to you. Now with our 5 RAW images open and selected in Adobe Camera Raw in Photoshop CC, we simply right click and use the brilliant Merge to HDR Panorama setting. In the new window that opens, choose Spherical and tick the Auto Apply setting and also tick Auto Crop. Click the Merge button to stitch them together seamlessly to create a panoramic RAW.dng image. Once this is done, you now have a huge RAW image and can make your normal RAW edits as you would do to enhance your image. E.g., we boosted the contrast and we also added a graduated filter across the entire sky. Then click Save Image to save it as a JPEG.